As far as remakes go, I feel like we've covered all bases at this point. We've got Resident Evil 5, which I think is more than likely the game that's going to be remade next. I can just see it. I think it's a mistake to do, but I can definitely see it. I kind of want them to remake number 1 again in the RE engine. Whether you do that first person, third person, I don't care. I just, no more fixed camera angles. Give me a different way to play that game. But although I said I kinda want them to do that, the most important game that needs a remake is 100% Resident Evil Code Veronica. Now, hear me out. Not only is this game severely underrated, there is so many people that skip over this game because they don't think it's a mainline entry, even though this is 100% Resident Evil 3. I know people go, you know, Resident Evil Nemesis is Resident Evil. No, 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 no. This is the third Resident Evil game. Nemesis was a spin-off. Nemesis was the side story. Nemesis is your... I shouldn't really play that game because it's not a mainline entry game. But you did play it, didn't you? Because just because it's got that number 3 on the title. But Code Veronica you didn't give the same respect to because it doesn't have a number. Therefore, it's not important. Well, you're wrong about that. Code Veronica isn't only super important to the story of Resident Evil, it's super important in the sense that it is phenomenal when it comes to being a Resident Evil game. It is. As far as fixed camera angles go, could be my favourite. I've got a soft spot for the original because the original started it all. That's why I'm into this franchise in the first place. That's why I'm a horror fan. The original, 96. But when it comes to Code Veronica gets so much of it right. Now some people are going to be like, oh, but it's so difficult and imbalanced. And it can be. There's like a rite of passage you've got with Code Veronica where it kicks living shit out you the first time you go through. It really does. You'll have like 50 odd saves. Okay, I don't even know if there's that many ink ribbons in the game. But you'll have a lot of saves and you'll just... the game destroys you, and you can like fight a main boss in the middle of the game, and it can annihilate you. Or you can just take a sniper rifle in, kill it, and leave all your ammo in the box. And then when you start controlling Chris, you've essentially got easy mode because you've got a shit ton of ammo. Because all you need is, I think it's like 4 rounds from the sniper rifle, and you've got him. Nosferatu's dead. But that's what Code Veronica is. It's like trial and error a little bit. But when you're good at Code Veronica and you understand how to play it, it's awesome, right? It's got a wacky as fuck storyline. It has. I'm pretty sure I don't need to go over that and why that would be changed in the remake, because we all know that stuff doesn't fly in 2023 and whenever this remake would ever happen. But let's go off that soundtrack first of all. That soundtrack is possibly the best soundtrack ever in a Resident Evil game. It's superb. It doesn't matter which room you're in. The save theme, oh, it's so good. It's got awesome, memorable characters. It does. Some of the dialogue is honestly some of the funniest dialogue. And this was like after Resident Evil 1. Everyone goes on about Resident Evil 1 being like, oh, you got Jill Sandwich and all that other, you know, the stuff that's been said numerous times, and you don't need to hear me say it again. But with Code Veronica, you've got Steve saying some stupid lines, being an absolute creep. The way Claire has some kind of love interest with Steve before, like, you know, the inevitable, but at the same time talks to him like she's his damn mother. It's honestly, it's really bizarre. You've got one of the best versions of Chris in this game. The villains in it, the Alfred and Ashford, the Alfred and Alexia, the Ashford twins. They're nuts. They're absolutely nuts. The twist where you find out Alfred's like cross-dressing as Alexia, and you start thinking, well, Alexia can't be real, and then you find out Alexia is real. Honestly, it's batshit insane, but when you're playing it originally, you're just like, you're engrossed because it just keeps going and going and getting more nuts as you go. You find out they did experiments on the dad, the way this like T Veronica virus works, and it's just like, This shit's nuts. You watch a video of these kids pull the wings off a dragonfly and put it down in a nest of ants, and they eat it, and it's just like, damn, they've had such a good upbringing. Honestly, the storyline for Code Veronica is perfect, and it's right there. You darken it up, it's already pretty dark, but you darken that shit up even further. Sure, you censor it, because that's coming. There's no getting around that. That's gonna get censored. Do I agree with it? Not really. I think you should just do it. I do, but at the same time, who cares? Just get it done. You know what's gonna happen. Soundtrack's phenomenal, but it also has such awesome weaponry. Think about the amount of weapons you get in this game. It's got dual wielding. It was the first Resident Evil to do dual wield. At least I'm pretty sure it was. I don't think there was a game before this. Survivor, no. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Code Veronica was the first to do dual wielding. Sure, there's not many guns you can do it with, but they're there. The amount of weapons, you've got shotguns, grenade launchers, you've got a bow, a crossbow, you've got different pistols. This game created my love for the Glock handgun. It's so good in this game. And the way Chris reloads that handgun as well, the animation's superb. Can we just talk about how the animation for Claire holding the gun is better than the Resident Evil remake from 2002 as well? How does Claire look more confident holding a handgun than Jill does, the trained police officer in 2002's remake? And it's not like you can go, oh well, Resident Evil 1 was done before Code Veronica. Yeah, the original was, not the remake. The remake came after, so it's like, what's going on there with animation? That always annoyed me, that the way Jill holds the gun in 2002. She honestly holds the gun, hate to say it, like a girl. Very bizarre. But Code Veronica's got amazing boss fights too. You're watching one right now. Imagine what this would be like in like a third-person camera. Could you imagine? Plus, I genuinely believe if you really, really wanted to, I'm not saying do it, because, you know, I like a little bit more slow pace to these Resident Evil games, I'm not going to lie. But if you wanted to do, if you want to go the action horror route, like Resident Evil 4 Remake has done, I genuinely think you can get it into Code Veronica. I do. Code Veronica, because of the amount of weapons you get in the boss fights and the amount of enemies you're killing off the time, it really was leaning into Resident Evil 4 anyway, especially where it's like wacky storyline. It's like you've got massive B-movie charm, you've got insane weapons. It's like, honestly, I can see it happening. Plus, don't forget about the cutscenes. The cutscenes are already on the line of what Resident Evil 4 was doing in the first place, with you running up walls. You honestly, if you were going to remake this and you wanted to push and just, you know, experiment with the action horror of Resident Evil 4, I can see you getting it into this game, and I can see it working too. But if you want to go like the more Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 2 route, that works too. You could really like slow the game down and make the enemies like really hard to kill, make it ultra violent. You want tons of gore, obviously like Resident Evil 2 remake. That was awesome. But also, I've said the weapons, the soundtrack, the characters, the boss fights, the enemy designs are awesome. Can we talk about the environments that Code Veronica puts you in? Arguably the best in the franchise. Like, listen, some people are going to be like, whoa, what about the mansion? What about the RPD station? It's like, yeah, you're thinking of like this one area that's iconic, but what about when you leave those environments? It's just, I don't know, it's just not as good, you know? With Code Veronica, you start on the prison island, right? In the prison island, you've got that Spencer. Well, there is the Spencer, like, copycat mansion in this. So, although I'm saying Remake 1, do you even need to if you give me Code Veronica? Because you're going to let me explore a mansion environment anyway. And you're watching Steve be an absolute creep. They're going to have to tone that back. Honestly, Steve, by the end of it, I don't give a shit what anyone says. He grows on you. I felt sorry for him by the end, but, like, you can't be doing that. That needs to go. You can't do that in the remake, Steve. Nah, that's not acceptable. It's fucking weird. But, yeah, the environments, you've got, like, obviously the fake mansion build. You've got the labs that you go through, the Antarctic, the prison. You've got that estate you go to, the Ashford little house they've got on the hill, which is very like Psycho-esque. That shit's fucked up with the doll in the center of it all. There's a ton of environments, man, in Code Veronica. Honestly, it's a huge game as well. Your first playthrough, like for a fixed camera angle game, was long. It was. There was a reason it was 2 discs on Dreamcast. And not a lot of people play the Dreamcast version, but trust me, there's differences with the Dreamcast version to the X version that went on PS2. You're watching the 360 version, which I'm not too sure how I feel about it, to be honest, because they've done some things to the lighting. The lighting's cool, don't get me wrong, when you've got your lighter out and you're casting shadows on the wall. It's like, yeah, cool. But the contrast just seems way too high, man. Everything's so, like, just dark, and it's like, not in like a I can't see kind of way. It's just everything that's black is too black. It's like, whoa, what's going on here? I don't know. It's just a very weird decision on art style, if you will. But honestly, I think Code Veronica should be remade next. It's got everything you need to make a great game. And plus, to a lot of people, this will be a completely new experience, because a lot of people skip over Code Veronica. And I'm telling you right now, you really shouldn't. You really, really shouldn't. Listen, I get it. The game kicks your ass. But you can get through it. Especially in today's day and age. You can just watch a walkthrough on YouTube, and you'll know pretty much whenever you need to do certain things. Like, when I was younger, I didn't know about the whole sniper trick. I didn't even know you could pick the sniper up. So I'm like wasting ammo on Nosferatu, and then I get to control Chris, and I'm just like, what in the fuck? Like, I've got no ammo, I've got no guns, like, what the hell am I meant to do here? And then obviously the hunters come in and they're destroying me left and right. That's when I got hold of a guide, like the official guide, and that's when it explained everything to me, where it was like, you only need the sniper, and I was like, you can pick the fucking sniper up? I didn't even know that. So I was a pretty dense kid. So obviously I didn't have the sniper, but when I got the sniper, and then the guide's like telling me it only takes so many rounds to take him out, and you've just got to wait for the right time to shoot him. I felt like a master. I did. I used to play Code Veronica so much when I was a kid, man. I've got heavy nostalgia for Code Veronica. I love it to bits. It definitely has issues. It does, but you definitely should give it a chance. But it absolutely should be the next for a remake. Not 5, not 1. It should be this. Code Veronica, not 0. Code Veronica. It's pretty much a new game at that point, and I feel like you can experiment with it a lot. Because, I mean, as a big fan of Code Veronica, how many people are going to get pissed off if they change like a shit ton of things that happen in Code Veronica? What, the 10 people that like Code Veronica? I'm going to get a load of comments now and then. Actually, Glenn, everyone likes Code Veronica. You need to shoot your fuck. Listen, Code Veronica's a fucking awesome game, and you really should. I'm telling you, play it. But it definitely needs a remake. It does at the same time. I wanna play these environments, this sen. But I don't think a remake should happen next. I really don't. I know that the last remake they did like 2 off the bat, and then we got 8. So it's like you could see them doing 4, 5, and then 9. Personally, I want a new game. I really do. But if we're gonna do the remake thing, Don't do 5. Don't do 5. As much as I want to see 5 could do some changing. Especially if you're going to change it. But Code Veronica, the environments, the characters, everything's there for the picking. And the game's big enough where you can kind of blend it into the new style of Resident Evil. You know, that like Village RE4 remake style. Come on, Capcom. Stop fucking cock teasing us. We want Code Veronica. Stop doing the remakes of the games that sell a gazillion copies. Honestly, that's the biggest thing I'm telling you with Capcom. They're not looking at Code Veronica and going, this doesn't deserve a remake. We'll move on from this. That's not what they're doing. They want to do it. You know they do, but they're also going, Resident Evil 4 makes a ton of money. Let's do Resident Evil 4. And they're going to look at 5 and Code Veronica. Honestly, Code Veronica is one of the least selling Resident Evils, I'm pretty sure. I couldn't tell you the numbers. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I've seen a few charts flying around where it's like Code Veronica's like on the low scale. Literally no one touches this fucking thing because they think it's a spin-off. Even when you see people go, oh, I'm ranking the mainline entries of Resident Evil, Code Veronica's not even on the list, and you're like, what? Are you fucking stupid? Honestly, it's Resident Evil 3. If we're going to kick a game off the rankings, you kick Nemesis off. But you shouldn't kick Nemesis off either, because Nemesis is awesome. But you get my point. How are you making a mainline ranking video and you're ignoring Code Veronica? Oh my lord, I don't ever want to hear anyone say that. Ever. That's just insulting to this awesome game. Sure, it's goofy. Sure, it's like absolutely batshit insane. Sure, it's tough as nails at times and it really does kick your ass. But it's Code fucking Veronica? This shit's amazing. You need to play it. It needs a remake. What are you ranting, people? Do you like Code Veronica? Do you not like Code Veronica? Do you think it needs a remake? Do you think I should shut my mouth? Everyone should just play fixed camera angles and tank controls, and we should go back to the 90s where it was bare. I don't agree with that, just so but I know a lot of my viewers love tank controls and love fixed camera angles and shit. I can play them. I'd prefer to play like Resident Evil 4. I'm just being honest with you. I do like Resident Evil when it comes to fixed camera angles. I don't like many fixed camera angle games. Resident Evil, I can tolerate. The first Dino Crisis, I can tolerate. Silent Hill, I can tolerate some of them sometimes. But I don't think it's a very good playstyle. There's a lot of games that just don't get it. Resident Evil got it, but not many else did. Look at this viewpoint. Can you see it on screen? Over the shoulder Veronica, just a laser sight. Look at that shit. It's a bit weird that I can spin around on the spot, but you get my point. Could you imagine if this was like, this was the point of view, full camera control, and you walk around? Oh, this just highlights, this moment here actually highlights what you can do with full camera control. That's another thing what Code Veronica's great for. It's fully 3D environments, so the camera moves with you. It's not static like the original remake and whatnot. Full 3D, full control. Well, it's not full control, but you get a point. Camera control, so it sets up more dynamic scares like that. Sure, it's pretty lame, a rat jumping out of a thing, and the fact that that rat wrote a letter later on. Honestly, Code Veronica is goofy, but it's as goofy as Resident Evil 4, and people love Resident Evil 4. You seeing the pattern here? Let's get this one remade. Let's get some fans for Veronica. If I can get one person to play Veronica from this video, I'd be happy. Seriously, play it, remake it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think it should be 5 and you're not a big fan of Veronica? And if you're not a big fan of Veronica, let me know why. I like hearing reasons why. I do. I genuinely do. But if you do love Veronica like me, do you think it needs a remake, or do you think they just leave it and we'll just get RE9? Whatever, people. That's all I got. I'll catch you later.